Yo soy, yo soy, yo soy. I am. The song from Mercedes Sosa, from Piero, that sing by Mercedes Sosa. I am, yo soy. This incredible question to make you look within, like, what am I, right? So I want to tell you a little bit about my story, who I am, and so get comfortable. um, because it started in 1983, 39 years ago. I'm about to turn 40, and I want to tell you a little bit how did I went from just a city boy, Catholic, like raised in a very structured, strict way of living, like limited by social and what everything supposed to be, and growing to just that life inside a system to end up living my dream of singing and traveling, sharing chocolate and cacao, and living abundantly and feeling very blessed, and living in retreat centers and yeah, doing yoga. And maybe if it inspires you somehow, you want to also still like live your life dream. Maybe my story helps. Maybe not. But here it is. I'm going to try to be short and just go through the bullet points, and then maybe you have some questions, like write them down here, and maybe I can go deeper. And I love telling stories, so just ask. But yeah, I was born in Cancun. I'm the oldest brother of four boys. This me and my youngest brother Beto, just 5 years a difference from me, four boys, and we grew in a very Catholic, like well accommodated like life, and when I was raised in Merida, Yucatan, and when I was 10, I moved to Mexico City, and I remember I was bullied by. This was the first time that I feel I was bullied by my accent, my way of expression, and this makes me realize how much our accent and uh, relates so much of who we are. And this is a beautiful journey that has been also a journey with my voice, because right when I was in Merida, I started singing in the choir, which then later will become big part of the story of why, like, well, was it singing in the choir, just like singing to God in the church choir, and it was an experience, a very pure, beautiful experience of singing and developing the voice unconsciously. Like, I don't remember there was like, I didn't have like many dogmatic, like already made up beliefs of the Catholicism in me. I feel it was a pure relationship with God, and what singing meant in that process was just beautiful. And then I was moved to Mexico City when I was 11. I was bullied for my accent for a while. I moved to a school that was the only, uh, yeah, well, we were on a group of the first generation of boys of these schools. We were a very small generation, and I was raised there. And when I was about, I can go forward up when I was always like very nice kid, and then at that age, teenager, I kind of got rebellious. Like something in me, like my Aquarius, my rebellious, my kind to break the mold thing, like kind of kicked in, and I was just like something unconsciously made me think like I like there's nothing here for me in this kind of like education and study. And I remember I became rebellious and angry about life and about like the feeling like contained all the time, and I needed like my freedom. Um, and I had a music band for almost 10 years, Watts. Some of you know Watts, and we used to make very fun music. At the beginning, it was just like very like teenager, and like like you're like feeling like anger and ex girlfriends and like all these issues from teenagers. I remember my friends didn't want to invite me to the band because they said I was the choir boy, and so I was too good for the band. And then we realized we all knew the songs from Pearl Jam and Nirvana and like all these songs, and we were doing it together. So that kept me alive. Singing like that kept me alive. Singing what's kept me alive. And then when I was about 18, uh, I had to choose what I was going to study, and my friends actually went to study like music, some of them to Berkeley. And in my the way of living in my life, like I don't feel in the way my parents understood life, like it was always a priority to study first school and then like go to music. And now I'm so grateful for that, because now I see, for a long time I resisted not having studied music. I believe in this way of thinking, and I realized like I needed to study marketing, and I went to that journey and like went to the university and really really kicked my ass for a few years. I remember it was just like working. I got a job at Starbucks over there, which lasted 10 years. um, so it was working in the morning, opening a store, managing a store, and then going to university, studying marketing, and then having the band. Don't remember how I do it. I was young. and yeah, that lasted for about 10 years. 10 years, the journey at Starbucks. And then when I finished university in marketing, I went to the corporate of Starbucks, and I did marketing for them for a few years in many different ways. Always very much in the logistic. I was always about people. Managing the store was always about service. Starbucks taught me a lot of that service, how to read a person, like so many people walking in the door, and shoom, in a second you need to connect with them in the feeling, to understand like where I at and how to connect with them, how to be friendly, how to actually feel gratitude. And they train us process, like you say at Starbucks every time on the line that you give a drink, you have to say thank you 3 times. So since then, this was the best thing I got out of Starbucks. They train me to feel gratitude. And it lasted for about 10 years, this process, having the band and doing marketing and traveling a lot. And when I was 29, about 10 years ago exactly, I got fired. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. And this saved my life, because I remember I was comfortable at that time. I was growing professionally, but I was growing a lot of responsibilities, but not that much my check. Does that sound familiar to you? Okay. I was traveling a lot, and then suddenly all my team disappeared. They fired them, and I knew I was next. And so yeah, they kicked me out, and it was a dark process in my life, because I was about to turn 29, and suddenly the job that I had for 10 years is not there. And the girlfriend I was like seriously going out with, and she was kind of like the girlfriend that really suited with what I was supposed to have as a girlfriend, right? Like the beautiful girl, nice family, traditional, Catholic, like all that, like written the supposed to be girl. And everything in my life kind of boom, like disappear out of the blue. But at the same time, for the first time, I had freedom, and I think I was probably scared for freedom. And many times we don't know. And this is a moment when, if you're trying to do that jump of leaving the journey of Godines, we call it in Mexico, office, this is when becomes scary. But I was very grateful and very lucky also to very fast, in a very dark moment of my life, when I was surrendering, that I found the tools, the angels, that the guides, that the teachers, like I started to see them, you know. So a lot of things showed up, teachers, medicines, ayahuasca, incredible trainings. I started to study psychonics with the Institute of Success. Beautiful training that changed my life and my dad's life, and it's my family life. But from that, many of you know, my dad became a hypnotherapist, past life, and specialized in life between life hypnotherapists. And yeah, you can ask for that. I can. Yeah, he gives incredible therapies. And it was a big shift from being an engineer, director of a company, and dad of like a very masculine family, energy family, and kind of angry about life. Everything in my life, in my house, was like chaotic, and we were all angry, and money was never enough, and it was just like, oh, this thing. And after that shift, like boom, we understood something. through psychonics, like we kind of understood to resignificate what success means in life, and to understand how to let go of the rational and start feeling, remembering that we can deeply feel. I remember my dad and I, he had always told me, like, boys don't cry, and like, you're the oldest of four, like, how are you gonna cry, like, you're the example. And suddenly you're seeing this person who told you your life that you cannot cry, he's now crying with you, you know and that becomes immediately, at least for me, a permission. Like, whoever put that limitation on me now allowed it. And I had so much to cry over life that I feel I cried for many, many, many years, with many, many, many songs. And we went intentionally we realized at this moment. Ayahuasca showed up around this time also, 10 years ago, and many other tools that started to show up that made me realize that my purpose in life, it was about spiritual growth, and that if I grew from inside, then the external will very easily, like, shift. And psychology showed us in such a beautiful, scientific way. But then I was curious. It gave me the basis of understanding myself, of understanding my how to feel again, how to be connected with the space, less rational, to give me tools. And then through these, I started to become more curious, right? Because we're in this process of healing, where believe that we need to be healed, and we need to, and this is never enough. And we go unconsciously from one retreat to another, and from one like tool to another, or one path to another, and Buddhism and shamanism and yoga and uh, so many styles of yoga, and so many and the red pad and the Temescal, like, so much stuff, like endless paths to love. uh, and then I started to realize, after many, many, many years, that whatever I was finding um, in all these paths, it was the common thing was music, was sound, right? And then right around that time, when I was 29, I found cacao for the first time. I started to go to these cacao ceremonies because I realized that I could sing in them. I could sing not from the same place, or not for the same purpose that I was doing with a band, or these many other things. And I could do a whole video just on, and this is this is what I share also in these retreats, is like my journey with the voice, and how your voice reflects so much of who you are, and how you can use the voice to come back to who you are. And can you realize, like, to come back to the pure voice, and singing from a pure space, to divine without any intention, to become empty with the voice, and to become a channel, or to use the voice to connect to those feelings or states, right? Because we sing, and I remember singing to hate, and singing to anger, and singing to so much things that we can connect to. But it is a choice. Like, you can connect to love, to divine, to expansion, to gratitude, no? And it makes life easier, definitely. So I realized this was a powerful tool. And ayahuasca showed me also that this was my journey. And I'm not saying we can have another whole video about these plants and the power of these beautiful master teaching plants, but to me, it really showed me that my mission here, it was through my voice, it was through singing. It was the thing that I liked the most. So I went for it, and I started, like, deciding in my life that every step was gonna go towards where I could sing more. This was what kept me alive through those years in the office, and I realized this was my dream. And in the process of realizing this was my dream, I realized that this is the medicine itself. And it's not my medicine also. It is a medicine that helps everybody to connect with themselves, to connect with the heart, to connect with love. And through that process, you can connect to what your dream is and make it come true through all this process. So I could get so much into detail of who much I am, but especially I hope you can feel what this journey has become of myself, because this is just the story. This is the story of my journey, a little bit about it, that brought me to this place, to now be living a life that sometimes even myself forget. but it is a life where I am connected way more with nature. I managed to always be living in very beautiful places, abundant places. I traveled the world doing my dream. I always knew I felt that I wanted to travel doing music and singing and just like, and now it's just happening. And now it's beautiful to share with others all what has been learning through this process. And sometimes if my teachers have shown me well, because I've gone through many, many different kinds of teachers. Um, Another thing that is interesting about this journey is about that time also when I shifted, I very fast ended up living in retreat centers. I started in Acalquí, a few times in Acalquí, and then Casa Om, and then Casa Muyal, and then I opened Casa Shiva, and then I went to the ashram, and then I ended up like living at the yoga forest. So I've been living basically in retreat places where people go for retreats. And I've realized the reality of retreats and retreat places. Of course, if you go and take a retreat for a week, it's refreshing, and then you go back. But when you live in a retreat state, you are in the state all the time, and you're reminded by everybody all the time what it is supposed to be for. And it is very challenging, but it's also very beautiful because it allow me to see like what people need, and it also allowed me to fall in love with service, especially. And it allowed me to see so many different kinds of teachers for different levels. It's beautiful that now there's just like so many teachers. Everybody's a teacher. Everybody's realizing we are teachers, which is beautiful. Everybody has something to share, and everybody has there's always somebody that needs to listen to that, and so that's beautiful. And we were having like retreat groups every week, especially at the yoga forest. So I got to see a lot of people, a lot of teachers, a lot of like facilitators. And I'm so happy to know that I found one of the best ones, and the ones that were meant for me. Um, some of them are, yeah, Jaya and Haley were charmer teachers in the Lake Atitlan in many areas. It's beautiful to have brothers that you can admire so much, and through every aspect of their life, because they have a very congruent life with their family, with their business, with their spirituality, and they're walking their spirituality. They don't need to be shouting out loud everywhere that they're spiritual and that they're teachers, like is happening everywhere. And they taught me that. They taught me that we just need to share what we are for what we do, for our vibration. And I feel that just that humility of like understanding that we just do it for the passion of sharing, the passion of service, the passion of knowing that somebody helped you with the frequency because they were walking the path and they were vibrating that they are. They were walking their disciplines, they're working their vibration, they're working their, so it's not much about the story. And I feel it's about it's about what you're feeling right now. It's about what you're vibrating out of me right now. If you met me before, if you haven't, but I'm trying to share, yeah, what has worked for me. I always remember my teacher Ansha will share like, yeah, you measure for the results. And so what are your results? Are you living your life dream? I feel I am, and I'm happy for that, and I want to share that with you because I feel we all have the potential of living our dream life and letting go like our limitations and expanding ourselves to experience life deeper and with much more love and connection with our relationships and with others and with nature, and just feeling better. And because I feel we need it. We really need it. We're living like very, very hard times. Sometimes I forget that it might feel like a bubble what I'm living, but it's a bubble that I've chosen, and you can choose your bubble too. And if we all change our bubbles and become a very much more less needing and much more loving and more heart opening and more connected rather than rational life, yeah, I feel we can do something to change the reality that we're living out there, because clearly the result of what we're experiencing hasn't worked as humanity. So there's looking to the people who are actually living the kind of life, the quality life, the no, the lack of drama, I would say, life. Uh, in a more harmonic way, in a more acceptance, in a more compassionate, in a more active, and they are actually really creating their own realities in a different way, in a loving way, in a harmonic. So, um, so I hope I have shared. This is 20 minutes, so it's long. I go all around the bushes. But I hope you can feel it. I really feel that we're meant to meet each other. Like every relationship is a teacher. I I hope I can help you somehow. I hope whatever I have experienced um, helps in your journey. If it have helped me, and in a happy way, in a playful way. So if you feel there's something here for you, connect with me, and I'm happy to share many of these tools that I've experienced around my journey. There's yoga, there's sound healing, there is temascals, there's like so many paths and so many tools, meditation, and uh, wow, so much stuff that just thinking about it makes me like realize that I've forgotten even a lot of what I've studied, which I'm actually very grateful for, because now it's just like um, sharing the full experience of it through singing, through chanting, through dancing, through simple things, to connecting with love, and to actually taking into action the shift of the frequency of the energy of your state of your feeling. Um, so let's hang out. Sending much love to you. Thank you for listening to me. I feel this is an endless process of doing videos of sharing who we are. So if you have any questions, let me know. I hope I really can connect with you, and I can, um, yeah, we can share some time together. Blessings, love, and a lot of music to you.